The feud between Kimmi Scott and Nell Fletcher on Love and Marriage Huntsville has reached an unprecedented level, and it's shaking up the entire fanbase. What started as subtle tension has exploded into an all-out war, filled with accusations, social media posts, and alliances being tested. But how did we get here? How did the conflict between two seemingly calm and collected women spiral so quickly into this mess? In this video, we're diving deep into the explosive drama between Kimmi and Nell and unpacking every moment that led up to this fiery confrontation. It wasn't always this way. Kimmi Scott, known for her composed demeanor and calm approach to conflict, had long been a stabilizing presence on the show. Fans admired her for staying out of the petty squabbles and always trying to keep things mature. Nell Fletcher, on the other hand, had a much more outspoken approach. She's fiercely loyal to her friends, and her no-nonsense attitude quickly made her a force to be reckoned with on the show. The two women didn't always see eye to eye, but things didn't start to heat up until Nell entered the group more prominently. At first, it seemed like the tension between Kimmi and Nell was nothing more than minor disagreements or awkward moments caught on camera. But as time went on, fans started to notice a pattern: slight jabs in confessionals, passive-aggressive comments on social media, and icy exchanges that hinted at something deeper. The real turning point came when Nell started to question Kimmi's loyalty, suggesting that she was playing both sides, especially when it came to the Scott brothers, Maurice and Marceau. Nell was vocal about this, which naturally raised eyebrows, but it wasn't until Kimmi made a seemingly innocent remark about people minding their own business that things started to boil over. That comment, which didn't name anyone directly, had fans speculating that Kimmi was calling out Nell. And sure enough, Nell didn't hesitate to respond. The following day, she posted a cryptic message on her Instagram stories that read, "Funny how some people preach peace but thrive on mess." It was subtle, but it was a direct shot, and fans were quick to pick up on it. This exchange set the stage for what would unfold in the latest episode, but the real drama took place off-screen, where things got even messier. The most recent episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville wasn't just another dinner party filled with awkward tension. This time, it was a powder keg, waiting to explode. The cast gathered for what was supposed to be a peaceful dinner to clear the air, but we all know that unresolved issues don't just disappear because a camera is rolling. From the very beginning, subtle jabs were thrown across the table. Nell, always ready to speak her mind, raised concerns about loyalty and honesty within the group. Although she didn't name Kimmi directly, her pointed questions and the look on her face made it clear who she was talking about. Kimmi tried to maintain her calm demeanor, but as the conversation dragged on, you could see her patience wearing thin. The real breaking point came when Nell, feeling emboldened in front of the group, directly confronted Kimmi. She accused Kimmi of smiling in people's faces while secretly talking behind their backs. Nell suggested that Kimmi had been acting as a mediator not out of kindness but to control the narrative and protect her own interests, particularly when it came to her husband, Maurice, and his brother Marceau. The accusation hit Kimmi like a ton of bricks. She immediately responded, stating that she never played games and that if anyone had a problem with her, they should come to her directly instead of throwing shade in public or on social media. But what happened next shocked everyone at the table. Nell pulled out her phone and read aloud a series of text messages from what she claimed was a mutual friend. These texts allegedly showed that Kimmi had been calling Nell messy and telling people that she needed to stay in her lane. The room fell silent. Kimmi immediately denied sending those texts or even knowing about them. She argued that they were misinterpreted or possibly fabricated. But the damage had already been done. The entire group was rattled, and suddenly, alliances within the group started to shift. After the episode aired, both Kimmi and Nell took to social media to air their grievances even further. Fans were already on edge, but what came next only intensified the drama. Kimmi, who typically avoided confrontation, surprised many by addressing the accusations in a long Instagram post. Without naming Nell directly, she wrote, "I've always prided myself on handling conflict with grace, but sometimes grace is mistaken for weakness. I won't be painted as someone I'm not. People will twist narratives to fit their own agendas, but the truth always comes out." This post received thousands of likes, with fans and even some cast members showing their support for Kimmi. It seemed like Kimmi was trying to maintain the high ground, but Nell wasn't about to let it slide. Just a few hours after Kimmi's post, Nell went live on Instagram. And this is when things really took a turn for the worse. Nell didn't hold back. In the live session, she addressed Kimmi's post head-on, claiming that Kimmi had been moving funny for months. She argued that the confrontation at the dinner table was only the tip of the iceberg. Nell hinted that there were private conversations, backdoor deals, and moments that had been conveniently left out of the final cut of the show. But what really made things explode was when Nell suggested she had even more receipts to back up her claims. She teased that if Kimmi continued to act innocent, she would be forced to release more evidence, perhaps even voice memos, that would paint a very different picture of Kimmi's behavior. Fans were immediately captivated by this live session. The comments section flooded with people urging Nell to release the receipts, while others warned her not to stir the pot any further. The support for both women was overwhelming. Meanwhile, Kimmi's supporters rallied behind her, flooding her social media posts with heart emojis and messages of solidarity. Some fans insisted that Nell was simply looking for attention, while others believed she was exposing the truth. The rest of the cast began to react, too. Maurice, Kimmi's husband, posted a cryptic tweet that seemed to indirectly take a shot at Nell. Some folks love the spotlight, even if it means burning bridges. Marceau, on the other hand, remained silent, fueling even more speculation about where his loyalties truly lay. At this point, the feud was no longer just between Kimmi and Nell. It had become a public spectacle that involved the entire Love and Marriage Huntsville cast. And behind the scenes, the producers were undoubtedly enjoying the chaos. After all, drama is what drives ratings on reality TV. There were even rumors that the producers were planning to fast-track the fallout between Kimmi and Nell, with cameras already rolling on new confrontations, shifting alliances, and emotional confessions. The next few episodes were bound to be explosive, but as the conflict continues to escalate, there's a real risk that it could tear the show apart. Behind the scenes, some cast members were reportedly getting fed up with the constant social media drama and the way private conflicts were being aired out in public. There were whispers that the ongoing tension between Kimmi and Nell could eventually cause a rift within the cast, leading to cast members quitting or refusing to film together. It's not unheard of in reality TV, where personal conflicts have led to irreparable damage to both cast relationships and the overall production. What's also clear is that the fanbase is more divided than ever. Some people are firmly on Team Kimmi, seeing her as a woman who's just trying to hold everything together while being unfairly targeted. Others are staunchly behind Nell, believing she's the one brave enough to expose the truth. This division among fans is spilling over onto social media, with people passionately debating who is in the right. It's turning into a battle of public opinion, and neither woman is willing to back down. The big question now is, where does this go from here? Can Kimmi and Nell reconcile, or has the damage been done? If Nell does release more receipts, will it push the feud past the point of no return? And how will the rest of the cast react? Maurice has already shown his support for Kimmi, but will Marceau eventually take a side? The drama is far from over, and the future of Love and Marriage Huntsville depends on how this conflict plays out. One thing is for sure, this feud is taking the show in a new direction. It's no longer just about the relationships or the business ventures, it's about power struggles, loyalty, and who can control the narrative. The fans are watching closely, and their reactions will shape how this drama unfolds. The producers are already calculating how to use this tension for maximum impact, but there's always a risk that things could spiral too far. If Kimmi and Nell can't find a way to cool things down, we might see a major shift in the dynamic of the show, with alliances forming and breaking in ways we never expected. So, what's next? Will Kimmi fight back against Nell's accusations? Will Nell pull the trigger and release her receipts? Will the rest of the cast take sides, or will they stay neutral? And most importantly, how will the fans react to the continued drama? This feud is far from over, and the upcoming episodes are bound to be some of the most explosive in the show's history. Stay tuned, because the war between Kimmi Scott and Nell Fletcher is just getting started.